Now, General Vang Pao was a soldier from the very beginning, and he was a leader among leaders. It is no wonder that he garnered praise and honor from different countries, which awarded him their highest military honors. From the United States, he received the Legion of Merit, befitting a general officer. From France, he received their highest decoration, the Legion of Honor with the degree of Knight. And from Laos, he received the Grand Officer of the Order of the Million Elephants and the White Parasol. Again, the highest decoration from a nation, and this time directly from the king himself. But beneath the medals and the uniform, in his heart, the general was also Hmong and immeasurably proud, with an unwavering belief in the grandeur of his people. And to that end, he would strive until his final days as an American of Hmong heritage. At the age of 13, General Vang Pao worked with the French as an interpreter and messenger. Then he joined the French colonial police in 1947. For his demonstrated skills, French officers sent him to their gendarmerie non-commissioned officer school in Luang Prabang, where he became a corporal. Training as a sergeant in Vientiane followed. Further recommendations took him to the Lao Officers School in Dong Hen in Savannakhet in 1951, where the French were training Lao forces. After graduating at the top of his class in tactics and strategy in 1952, he served in the Lao Territorial Army and later as an officer in the Royal Lao Army. It was at this time in 1954 that the Geneva Accords were signed, establishing Laos, the kingdom of a million elephants and a white parasol, as a neutral sovereign state. By the end of the decade, Vang Pao was selected for battalion command, and he attended the requisite course and training in Chinaimo and Vientiane. That course was followed by a counterinsurgency program at the Scout Ranger Base in Manila, Philippines. Afterward, he took command of the Royal Lao Army's 10th Infantry Battalion on the Plain of Jars. Now, if there were a turning point, an event that determined the course of Hmong events to come, January 4th, 1961 just may be it. This was the day Lieutenant Colonel Vang Pao met Colonel Bill Lair at the Tai Viang airfield, south of Siang Kwang. A World War II veteran, Colonel Lair worked for the Central Intelligence Agency at the time, and in Vang Pao he found the determined ally that he was looking for. By 1962, Vang Pao had made full-bird colonel, and he began to build a small army, initially 1,000 strong with training at Padong, a mountaintop base south of the Plain of Jars. General Vang Pao then established his base in Long Tieng, 3,000 feet above sea level and surrounded by mountains. By 1963, the Hmong troops were 20,000 strong, and in 1964 they received the name of Special Guerrilla Units, or SGU. From 61 to 73, General Vang Pao led his troops. The degree of his success may be best described in how he fought the North Vietnamese forces to a standstill in northern Laos for a decade. That, my friends, is no ordinary accomplishment. Over the years of fighting, the Hmong would begin to transform from a farming community to a war-fighting people, and some of those took to the sky. Li Lu, Vatwa, Vachu were the first Hmong pilots selected by General Vang Pao to fly the T-28 bomber aircraft. Many others would follow, as air support became a lifeline for the Hmong people during this period. So much so that the history of the Hmong people is intertwined with names such as Ravens in Air America. In 1963, General Vang Pao was promoted to Brigadier General, and then in 1965, he became commander of Military Region 2, one of 5 such regions in the Kingdom of Laos. In the same year, he was gravely wounded in Phanya Tumbilifong, in his memoirs the decision to wait for the general's recovery instead of assigning a new commander. General Vang Pao did return in full force, and in 1968 he earned his 3rd star as a major general. In his remarkable military achievements earned him the title of Phanya Norapamok, or in English, Lord Protector of the Land, from His Majesty the King of Laos, King Savang Matana. General Vang Pao inspired a whole generation of Hmong officers, from lieutenant colonels to full birds. There are too many to name. General Vang Pao also fostered Laotian unity, as soldiers from various ethnicities served loyally under his command, whether they were from the Lao majority or the minorities such as the Khmu, the Mien, the Tai Dam. After the fall of Saigon in 1975, General Vang Pao and some of his officers and their families were airlifted to safety in Thailand. Because the majority of his soldiers and their families were left behind, he vigorously lobbied Washington and was instrumental in gaining congressional approval to resettle Hmong and Laotian refugees in America. As a result, nearly 100,000 Hmong and many Lao refugees from Laos have found a new home here in America. Today, the Hmong number approximately 200,000 strong. In the United States of America, General Vang Pao turned his energies from military service to a new calling, as he stayed close to his Hmong people and sought to support them as they made their transitions to life in America. In 1977, he founded the first Hmong Lao nonprofit organization in Orange County, California, called Lao Family Community Incorporated. Thus started a new era of community services and leadership to create strong and prosperous Hmong American communities in the U.S. In 1985, he established the Hmong 18 Clans Council in Fresno to preserve certain cultural practices and traditions that contribute to solving problems within the community. At the same time that General Vang Pao was building strong Hmong American communities in the West, he continued to advocate for the return to freedom and democracy in Laos. He founded several pro-democracy and international human rights organizations and remained active in them. In 1981, he founded the United Lao National Liberation Front, also known as Lao National Liberation Movement, with other Lao dignitaries such as Tiao Phaya Luang Otong Sumanavong, Prince Sisut Nan Chapasak, Dr. Kampai Abai, Tiao Opat Na Champasak, General Kuprasit, General Thonglik Tok Beng Mun, Mr. Humfan Sayasit, and others. He supported the work of other humanitarian rights organizations such as the Mouvement pour les droits des hommes, a Lao human rights organization based in France. He was instrumental in creating the Lao Human Rights Council, which documented human rights abuses in Laos and brought worldwide attention to attempts to forcibly repatriate Hmong local refugees back to Laos. One of the highlights of his human rights efforts involved the successful lobbying that stopped the United Nations-sponsored repatriation to Laos of thousands of Hmong refugees in Thailand. This lobbying was an effort in partnership with a coalition of influential American diplomatic allies and many Hmong Americans. The success eventually led to the authorization to resettle in the U.S. the last of the recognized Hmong refugees from Wat Tham Krabak in Thailand. This last wave of 15,000 arrived in 2004. General Vang Pao's engagement in veterans issues such as House Resolution 371 when the Hmong Veterans Naturalization Act of 1997 provided for a citizenship test waiver for Hmong veterans in specific circumstances, along with the extension of that benefit to the widows. He created Hmong veterans organizations such as the Lao Veterans of America and the Special Guerrilla Units and Families of the USA. He saw the unveiling of the Hmong Lao Soldiers Memorial Monument at the Arlington National Cemetery. Most recently, he was actively involved in efforts to recognize the right of Hmong veterans to be buried at national veterans cemeteries in this country, which exist in 39 states, so they could be with their fellow American brothers in arms. Like the true soldier and devoted leader that he was, General Vang Pao worked for the welfare of his Hmong people until his very last step. He was braving the weather to celebrate the 2011 International Hmong New Year in Fresno when he fell weak from a bout of pneumonia. And after several days at the hospital, General Vang Pao rendered his final salute on January 6, 2011. General Vang Pao loved his people. His undying wish would be that the Hmong remain strong, that they love each other, work together and prosper while maintaining a culture that contributes to the larger American identity. General Vang Pao is survived by his two former spouses, Tong Vang and Bailo, 25 children, 68 grandchildren, and 17 great-grandchildren from his direct line. He also has many nephews, nieces, grandnephews, and grandnieces who are like his own children. At this time, I'd like to thank those who put their hearts and minds together to provide the information that I just presented today. I'd ask you to allow me to take another moment to share a few of my own thoughts. Grandfather General Vang Pao equals Hmong, and Hmong equals General Vang Pao. The two are synonymous. He is a fixture in the landscape of Hmong history. He will remain there as a part of the ongoing story. And you and I know we will not see another like him. Time and circumstance gave rise to General Vang Pao, who touched the lives of so many, especially the American pilots, the American soldiers that he saved, that he became very close with. The General's loss is immeasurable. It reverberates across the globe. But I would say that his leadership, his service, and his sacrifice resonate beyond language, beyond culture, and beyond time. And we're here today because of and thanks to Grandfather General Vang Pao. Thank you very much.